So, welcome to Comfort Legacies with Faye Michelle. And today we have our lovely guest, Angela, who's going to walk us through her journey on her book. We'll start off by letting Miss Angela introduce herself.
Well, hello. I'm Angela Lewis.
Okay.
I'm a new author, and I just recently started writing. Actually, I was started writing some years back, but it's all coming together now.
Okay. Okay. And what's the name of your book?
Well, one is Paradigm Shift, and one is Trajectories of Grief. And Trajectories of Grief, that one was written in 2020 after the loss of my daughter's father.
Okay. Okay. All right. And so let's start off by talking about how this process all began for you. How did you decide that you wanted to start writing? I know you've been writing a long time because your book is mostly poetry, right?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
um, how did I start? Well, I when I was a little girl, I didn't say, "Oh, I think I'll become a writer."
Mhm.
My mom used to would ask, and I would say, "Hey, who makes the most money?" And so she said, "Well, architect," and she may have given me some more, names. I can't remember, but I joined church 2010 of September. I think it was 2010 of September, and looked like maybe around 2013, 14, the writing just started. Actually, I had gotten sick and I was in the hospital. And so
Mm,
I had an idea for, I'm going to call it a movie. It could possibly
okay.
be a book before a movie, but I got an idea of the beginning, middle, and ending. And
Okay.
so it's like I just started seeing, and so I started writing. um and that one, that was like initially, and that's the one that now I need to get back to. But after that, the poems started coming. And they sometimes I would wake up out of my sleep and I would just start writing. um so the paradigm shift, it's a collection of poems, that I started 2014. I want to say to like 2017.
Okay.
Uh, yeah. So that's kind of how it all got started.
Okay. So do you think that in order to become a writer, you think that it takes some type of emotional experience?
Oh wow.
Mhm.
Look, I don't want to say, well, yes, and then I don't want to say no. Because I do realize, there we are a multifaceted people.
Mhm.
This person could have went to school for writing and they could be great at it. You could have someone such as myself who did not go to school for writing, who did not see themselves, writing. Um, that's a great question, though.
Mhm.
I think it will be somewhere in the middle because you have some people who are writers. What I mean, like you have journalists.
Right.
Some journalists and like newspaper, the people that write newspaper articles, they may not saying that they can't, but they may not journey over into just say like a poetry or love scenes or drama scenes or things of that nature. So I would just say somewhere in the middle because you also have comic book
Mhm.
writers. um I don't want to say yes and I don't want to say no. I'll just say somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the
And
middle.
the reason why I say that, because they say, okay, well, you have natural born leaders.
Okay.
And with that in regard, with a natural born leader, it's like this person just have always seemed to gravitate higher versus, some of us kind of, move a little slower. It take things such as what you said, emotional whatever's, to happen to us before we kind of tap in. So I'll
Got
just
you.
leave it like that. Yes.
Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying because as you described, going to perhaps school for writing, it wouldn't necessarily mean that you have to have something emotional or some type of emotional connection to write. You may have the skill set versus the emotional impact that would thrust you into writing. With it being a book of poetry, and then you have a second one which helps to lead into a more of a narrative, because didn't you say you added the poems to your second book?
The second with Paradigm Shift, right there, it's like a collection, and so I have them separated. I
Okay.
don't. Let me see. How do I? When I started writing them, when it was kind of like a one by one, waking up out
Yes.
of my sleep, sometimes writing. I kind of, it was like I kind of didn't know, and then sometimes I would share them at church, and then I had a spiritual mom. She made me get up in front of the church. We did it for like a month, and
Wow.
so, but it was like every Sunday after service, she made me get up and read a poem.
Oh,
I was
frightening.
Yes, because and so they tell me when I say this word, Angela, stop saying that. Shy. They tell me stop saying that. But she made me do that for like a month. So they were telling me, you know how a person will tell you something, and I had this one minister, and I can't remember the lady's name, and it was a book of poetry.
Oh,
And I think the lady that she showed me, I think she's a high, I'm gonna say a person who's high up there. I just can't remember her name. So, you know how to kind of come in one ear, go out the
yes.
other, in a
Yes.
sense. But over this period of time, I was still writing. Um, and I took a class, I want to say that was like 2018, maybe 19. My pastor and them, they paid for me to go to this class, How Do You Write Your First Book? But
Wow.
I had already had a lot of the poems written that are in majority of the poems, they were already written. It was like it was already done. I took the class. I think it lasted maybe I'm gonna say 2 months, maybe.
Wow.
With the pastors that they used to be up under. I don't know. So when Trajectories of Grief, when I did that one, then I just kind of started thinking. Kind of, I want to say maybe October, somewhere in October. I said, you know what? I could go ahead and, because it's already together, let me go back and review it and put it together and just push it out there and, see what happens. I would say the unction came from, my Lord, but yeah. Like,
Yeah.
hey,
Okay.
why not? You don't have anything to lose.
So you spoke of the class that you took. What type of tools did you bring away from taking the class?
Quiet places. You could write if a thought comes, just
Yes.
just write it out, because you can always go back to it. And
Right.
so in doing that, I could be driving, something will come. Uh this is me though. Something will come. There are many times I can remember. There are sometimes I don't even remember, and I'm like, what was it? And then
Yes.
it'll make me think about the class. You should have written it down, because I love to put things in my notes on my phone. And so that's where a lot of the poems, when I wake up in the middle of the night, I would write them in the notes on the phone.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Uh
So
huh.
oh, that's a good thing. So the takeaway from that was to write it down,
Yes.
because the memory is fleeting at times. I
Yes.
know for me it is, and they should say write it down and write it down neatly, because I usually don't write it down neatly, and so it's worse than keeping it in my head.
I'm finding now these electronics have actually gotten us in a place. I'm not
Yes,
going to claim it for everyone, but it's like, Angela, can you even write anymore? It's,
yes,
yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
Well, that is amazing. You got your story out, you got your poems out, and you were able to get it published. And so, what was it like editing and whatnot? How did you handle that process?
You know what? It's kind of like I enjoyed it. Well, you know how they say when you're doing something that you love or you simply love, but I'm a
Yes.
little stopped up.
Yes.
But
Okay.
it really doesn't seem like work. But here it is. Okay, so with trajectories of grief, when I did that one, my letters were up and down. I didn't know that it had a meaning. I didn't know it was a word. So when I looked it up, it's called camel casing. So that was the first ebook that I published. So my spiritual mom, she said, "Well, hey," she said, "I can't, I she couldn't get it." So when you
Right.
say what was the process was like, I had to go back. So I'm like, oh man, I got to go back and put this in normal lettering.
Right.
Um, so I was like, okay, well, since I got to go back and put it in normal lettering, now I'm going to add a few more dollars because this is time consuming in a sense. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so, because they were already asking me, well, Angela, why is it so low? Because the trajectories of grief is 429. So it's like, why are you doing it so low? Okay, so when I went back and retyped it in normal lettering, I said, well, hey, you know what? Now I make it be $7. Um,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I was kind of like, oh man. But once I got into it, it was okay.
Okay. So you don't have it in paperback, right? It's all ebook.
Right. And so I really want to get it in paper book. I did see where Amazon have you can order it that way. And so those were really like that's a goal to get it
Yeah.
in paperback. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I looked at it and I saw how it was when it came to me in a PDF.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the pages were like the poetry was in block style and like um, almost like a puzzle.
Oh, you
In
know what? You know what?
mhm.
Um, Paradigm Shift, Rainbow Bright,
Yes.
it was intentional. But I'm glad you got it and when you saw it because you may be the person that says, well, hey, I don't really get this. I don't really, but Rainbow Bright, it was done that way intentional. And I'm trying to see I don't know if it's redactions or if it's the human experience where I took them and instead of starting, at the top of the paper, I
Yes.
I kind of brought them to where they would start at the middle, kind of in the middle. And I don't know if that's been done before. I don't know. Just say like if a publisher company will be like, hey, I don't know if you can do that, but that's just what I want, what I wanted to do.
Yes. It's interesting. It kind of drew me kind of in and away. I was like,
Okay.
okay, well, what's going on here? And then, so I was like, okay, it might take me a minute to figure it out,
Okay.
but because
Okay.
I was running through it quite quickly, I
Right.
said, okay, I might have to come back to it. But
Okay.
I wanted to make sure I scrolled through everything and got through it and looked at it. So
Okay.
I think that what would be interesting would be to see it on color paper and maybe us seeing in the background when you do decide to do your paperback. I think it could add to some of the creativity part of it. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's very interesting. So, do you have a short poem that you memorize your poems?
Oh, you know what?
I ain't a lot of
they
them, huh?
right. They made me when I did roots and what is it? Roots in my spines, or I think that's the correct look. I think it's roots in my spine. I had to memorize that one, and I was like, but no, normally I don't really remember because when they had me doing them every Sunday, they said it was okay that I go ahead and read because some of them were a little lengthy. But I
Yeah.
did have to remember roots in my spine, and I think that's the first one in
Okay.
Paradigm Shift.
Okay. And what kind of feedback did you get when you were doing your poetry for a month?
They seem to all love it.
Really?
Yeah, they
Okay.
seem to all love it. They was encouraging me. And when it got to a place to where I wasn't writing them anymore, um, every now and then, they would bring it back up, with Angela,
Okay.
what are you doing? Because it's looked like a lot of time had went by, where I just kind of, not focusing on that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So, well, you're gonna give us a little taste of roots in your spine.
I would love to.
Oh, go
Can
ahead.
I
Let's
can
shoot.
can I pull it? I don't know it by heart. Can I pull it up on my laptop? Because if I pull it up on my cell phone, I'll have to
Yeah. No, but
readjust.
see, that was a test there. See, I thought you had some of that memory down right there.
Oh no.
What about a couple of lines? You remember any of
Um,
the lines?
do I remember? Not off the top of my head. I don't.
Okay, well, tell me what it's about.
Um. It's like I want to attempt it, but then if I try it, and then now I'm gonna be like the football player that fumbles.
Trust me, I understand. I
Okay, so
do.
what it's about? It's kind of like you're at a place in your life, and then you kind of just, I'm gonna say, like, how sometimes we're numb, or we're kind of like in a little bubble. And one of the lines I have in there, it's something about sitting on the dock of the bay, renditioning to melodies of my soul. And I think that's kind of just like, sometimes we're numb, sometimes whatever the case may be, we have kind of literally checked out of reality as we know it. And so
Yes.
now a pulling is coming. So now we're kind of slowly reeling, we're being reeled back into life. And so
Okay.
it's,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
So you have a minute. Okay. We'll wait till you pull it up on your computer.
Oh, you want me to read it?
Yeah, it sounds. I love that line that you just used.
Oh, okay. It's right here.
Mhm.
Let me get it. I'm right here. Oh, here it is. Yeah, it's right here. It's because look, I was getting, I can explain it, but look, memorizing it. I pray it's charged up. Okay, good. It is charged up. It is charged up. You say, I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
Yes, I want to hear it.
Let's go back. Let's go to pages and get it pulled up. Okay, file, open recent. Oh, I should have had it pulled up. I should have had it pulled up already. Oh, let's see. Kindle. Here it is. Let's see what it opened up for me. Come on, hurry up. The electronics work really fast, and then when you really need them to work fast, they go slow.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Okay, it's open. Roots in my spine. Roots in my spine are beyond me, catapulting forces that grave me. And sentence I expire are beneath me. Am I metamorphosizing greatly? OMG, what has happened to me? Sitting on the dock of the bay, I suppose, rendition into melodies of my soul. Fiercely I scream, but can I be heard? Thunderous bouts have weighed me, tragically waiting for an uproar alignment. Down the hall, I pass the light, only to find out God has wavered my sight. He stretched out my hand and molded me by night. enlarging my territory, captivating my might. Roots in my spine no longer grave me, yet gifts abound unimaginably. And that's it.
Beautiful, beautiful. You
That's,
can feel the passion in that.
oh, wow. Thank
Oh,
you.
wow. Oh, that is great. Thanks so much for taking the time out to read that and get it. So, lastly, can you tell me what advice would you give to someone wanting to become a poet or an author?
Oh, wow. Just do it.
Just do
Just
it.
do it. Because, depending on our life, situations, circumstances, uh, fear is, because that's been one of my number one. I would just say, do it. Pray, do it.
Okay.
Just do it. Because
Just
sometimes
do it.
we are in our own way. Just do it.
And I said that was the last one, but I have one more.
That's fine.
What did it feel like to get that book completed?
It felt great. Listen, I was so nervous. I, I was so nervous just uploading it on the Kindle Direct Publishing. It was like, and I don't know why, but I was just so nervous. Just press the button, Angela. I was so nervous, but it absolutely felt great. It felt wonderful.
Absolutely. Some people
Yes.
said it feels magical, and I understand it. Once and nervous once you release it unto the world, because I think I remember feeling that like, there it goes, and the
Yeah,
world.
I was just like, ooh.
Wow. Well, Angela, thank you so much for getting up so early and spending your time with us this morning. And I just appreciate you and your poetry, and I wish you much success and that you will write more and that you'll get that paperback going and fulfill all of your ambitions and help all that you can through your words. And I thank you so much. And I'm very sorry for your loss, too.
That's okay. Thank you. No, look, I'm thanking God and I'm thanking you because
Thank you
He
so
is up to something. Thank you so much.
much. Thank you.